Leicester hold an air to come through in the rain against Edinburgh. My name's Mark, let's talk group. This one really was a scrappy affair. There was, a lot of mistakes from either team caused by, poor conditions, but also just a lot of good defence actually from both teams, especially really good line speed from Leicester, putting on a lot of pressure. Edinburgh really good at the breakdown, turning ball over a lot. That back row with Ritchie and Watson there, really giving them a chance, but just a lack of composure really overall. Earlier on, Leicester win a penalty right in front. Pollard opens the scoring from the tee. We're at 3-0. Van der Merwe then knocks on a tester, run up and under from Van Poortvliet. Van Poortvliet also kicked a fantastic 60-meter clearance kick. He really had a great game. Himself and Pollard there at halfbacks. Great game from both of them, but Van Poortvliet, he wasn't the best for England in the Six Nations, but seems to be finding some form again. Maybe he just has to settle in at test level. I'm not too sure at the moment. Next then, Edinburgh through Watson managed to get over the ball with Leicester on the attack. Wins the penalty, provides some relief for them, but then Leicester win a scrum penalty, kicked out to the corner. Edinburgh managed to nick the line out, but it goes into touch. Leicester then go through the phase of picking, going from the line out. We come back for a penalty for offside. Leicester decide to tap and go, but Edinburgh defence managed to force a knock on. They're able to clear through Kinghorn. He got, I'd say, some distance on his kicks tonight as well. Really helped them to relieve pressure, especially when they were bringing it on themselves. Leicester then win another penalty. Edinburgh get warned by the referee, Reynal, for giving away too many. Leicester go for the post, but it's missed to the left. We're still at 3-0. Edinburgh then get charged down twice in a row. Raffelli basically gave a hospital pass to Kinghorn after they'd already been charged down. He gets charged down, but Leicester were offside from the second one, so they're able to clear. Kinghorn really not impressed with Raffelli there. And the first quarter really was all Leicester, but you just had the 3 points to show for it. I was kind of feeling at that stage, Edinburgh, they're starting to work their way into the game. If they can create some chances, maybe they can nick this one. We get a great counter ruck then from Schoeman, and they win a penalty, kick it into 22, but then Leicester nick their line out. It was kind of the story of the game, really. One team would, get into position, and the other team's defence would get in there to disrupt some way or other. Then as we near half-time, Pollard produces a bit of magic close to his own line, getting the offload to Stewart and allowing them to relieve pressure. Looked like they could have been, caught behind their own line, but he did really well there. Edinburgh then come back. They're pinning Leicester in their own half now. Darcy Graham with a great chase and counter ruck against Stewart. Gets them in position. Edinburgh then, they almost break through, but the ball goes to ground. Leicester then hack it forward, but Buffelli does well to get back and cover, and that's half time. It was only 3-0, but there was plenty of action in that first half. Into the second half then, Edinburgh start putting on some pressure. They're camped on the Leicester line. They've got penalty advantage. They managed to drive over, but to get held up. So they decide then to take the points. Buffelli pops it over, and we're all square at 3-all. Edinburgh then, keeping up the pressure, get the edge in a scrum, win a penalty, and Buffelli puts them ahead 6-3. Leicester then managed to charge Edinburgh down again. This kick is close to their own line. Skinner gets caught offside. Leicester decide to go to the corner. Edinburgh managed to nick that line out, but then Van der Merwe spills the ball as he's trying to run out from behind his own line. The ball goes loose and it ends up in the hands of Jasper Wiese. He then bumps off Richie and manages to stay in field and get through Van der Merwe to score in the corner. That is converted for 10-6. What a score from Wiese and what an impact from him coming off the bench. Edinburgh, their lead didn't last all that long. It was basically a minute or two. Then they do get a chance to respond immediately. Leicester are not releasing. Raffelli hits the post of the pen. It then comes down close to the line. Edinburgh win it, but then Leicester managed to turn over. We then have a kick through from Leicester, close to the Edinburgh line. Darcy Graham kind of loses it under his feet. It hits the post, rebounds back. They get the ball. Raffelli has it, but he gets bundled over the end line. It's a scrum under the post then for Leicester, thinking if they can score another try here, then that would be it. But they win a penalty at the scrum. Edinburgh, they're under immense pressure. Leicester decide to take the points, 13-6. And at that stage, I'm thinking Edinburgh definitely need to score next. And also they need to find their composure. Their, errors really are costing them. They've had a lot of time on ball in the Leicester half, but keep making mistakes. And again, part of it is that Leicester defence, but part of it is just lack of composure and not being able to handle the conditions from their side. Richie then gets pinged for hands beyond the ball and allows Leicester to go for the post again. That's 16-6, and there's not much time for Edinburgh to come back. And they really haven't shown that they're capable of doing it either. Edinburgh, they do try to muster something, going through some phases, but then Reffel gets over the ball and wins a penalty, and that feels like game over at that stage. We've only got a few minutes left in the clock. Leicester managed the game really well till the final whistle, and full time is 16-6. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the stats. Possession was 43% to 57 in Edinburgh's favour. Territory 42 to 58. Meters run 246 to 298. So you can see from those that Edinburgh did a lot of the ball. They were making ground, but it was just that lack of composure really cost them. Tackles 177 to 110. So Leicester, big shift for them in defence. Scrum was 90% for Leicester, 75 for Edinburgh, and the fact that early on Leicester kind of got in the impression into Reynald's head that they were on top really helped them there. Line-out was 56% for Leicester. Edinburgh really did a good job of disrupting them, but they were only 71% on their own line-out too. So they couldn't rely on that either for a good platform to attack from. Turnovers 11 for Leicester. Some of those very vital in terms of keeping Edinburgh out. And then Edinburgh with 24, a great shift from that back row, gave them tons of opportunities, but they couldn't take them. Leicester, from here now, they go on to play the winners of Leinster and Ulster. Edinburgh's lack of composure led to them falling apart, just like their season has, and this now means no Heineken Cup for them for at least 2 years.